Censorship. It is a dominant force in the field of politics, entertainment, education, and life itself. It is described as a succession of speech or other communication that may be deemed objectionable by a controlling body. It can be traced back as far as the days of Socrates, when he was sentenced to death for corrupting the minds of the Athenian youth. He was a social and political critic and was put to death for speaking his mind. This is only one example of censorship in history, however. Centuries of censorship have hit our earth through the Middle Ages, the Renaissance, and even now. People have been sanctioned for simply speaking their minds, even in a country with freedom of speech as a constitutional amendment. There are also many different kinds of censorship as well, such as book censorship, film censorship, music censorship, and finally, internet censorship. The internet is a system that isn't strictly regulated by the US government, but in other countries like China, censorship dominates the superhighway. The biggest issue with internet censorship, and censorship in general, is that it hinders the knowledge of a population so that information can be hidden from the public eye. And such is the case with education. In 2003, the Children's Internet Protection Act was passed by the Supreme Court, which requires K-12 schools to have internet filters to protect children from harmful online content. There are 3 types of content that is required to be blocked. These 3 types are known as obscene content, child pornography, and content that might be harmful to minors. These are logical requirements that should be in place, but it seems that internet filters have stretched to an even greater length, blocking sites that could actually be beneficial to a student's educational needs. Students are not the only people who have these frustrations, however. In some cases, teachers will have to stall their class time because the site they were going to share with the class is blocked on their servers. Oftentimes, students will have to go through a long wait to acquire certain videos that are necessary for that particular class. It would be simplified if YouTube was simply unblocked. For example, this video has to be put on YouTube when it is finished, but that can't be done because of these restrictions. It's necessary for the class, and censoring YouTube is a waste of time. The only possible reason why the site like YouTube would be blocked is the assumption that students would waste class time on it. The school board should be able to trust their students and learn and use class time respectively. Simply restricting the entire site creates no benefit. Kids who want to fool around will do so, while kids who actually want to learn with the help of YouTube are denied that. Some students don't even have internet at home, and certain classes require YouTube to be used. A simple solution to all this is at the very least unblock YouTube. A school like Mount Blue allows students to use YouTube, which is the logical system, because they can use it effectively when the class requires it. As Steven Spielberg once said, there's a fine line between censorship and good taste and moral responsibility.